Welcome to Week 10 in the NFL here on STL Sports Central. Matthew Rocchio, Randy Karraker on a Sunday, getting you ready for the action. And it should be fun. Not many great games, not many great matchups, at least on their surface. Now, that means there will probably be some awesome games today. But as we speak, let's talk about the four that we like, that we are intrigued by. And Matthew, let's start with the Battle of the Purple. The Ravens are at Minnesota. Baltimore, coming off of their bye after they were 1-5, is 1-2 in a row. Now they're 3-5. They're the favorites to win the AFC North, even with that 3-5 record. The Vikings have been up and down. J.J. McCarthy is back, had a good game last week, and they have a record of 4-4. Lamar Jackson back for the Ravens. The defensive players are back. They've changed their defensive alignment. Kyle Hamilton much closer to the line of scrimmage now, and he's been a game changer, a game breaker for Baltimore. Baltimore's favored on the road by 4.5, and I kind of like them.
Yeah, it just seems like a team that's due for a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, they're getting everybody back. We know they have the talent. We know they have the coaching. It's just a matter of time. We've seen it with the Chiefs. At that point, it became cliche, but this is a legitimate thing we see happen in the NFL. With talented teams that are a little bit older, that sometimes have to, shake off a little rust, maybe shed a little dead weight. Maybe somebody gets a little bit too comfortable. Maybe a couple guys got to get a little knock in the head. We see this all the time in the NFL. This isn't surprising. They'll lock in. They'll make the playoffs, maybe as a wild card team, because maybe the Steelers will give kind of run guns there in the AFC North, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs, and I think this could be a good game for them to kind of click in gear and make things happen.
One of the worst defenses in the league for Baltimore in the first half dozen games of the season. They lose to the Bills in the opener 41-40, and we're thinking, it's just Buffalo. Then they beat the Browns 41-17, and we think they're back. But then after that, Matthew, a 38-36 loss to the Lions, a 37-20 loss to the Chiefs, a 44-10 loss to the Texans, then a 17-3 loss to the Rams, and they got a little bit better there. Then they had their bye, took care of the Bears with a 30-16 victory, and then won last week against Miami 28-6. So on both sides of the ball, they appear to have turned things around. And you mentioned the coaching. A great coaching staff can do that. And obviously they're going to score a few more points when Lamar Jackson is healthy.
And in fairness to them, I mean, they were taking care of, the worst offenses in football, and they were getting shellacked by some of the best offenses in football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rams at that point, they were, on the climb, but the Rams right now are playing the best football in the NFL the last 2 or 3 weeks, unfortunately. But I mean, they went up against some pretty damn good offenses in that stretch that were beating them up. And so the fact that they're finally figuring things out after those big numbers, it's not surprising.
J.J. McCarthy leads the Vikings to a 27-24 win at Detroit last week. I'm not a believer yet. Are you?
No. And the Baltimore Ravens seems like a good game for him to maybe scramble and get a touchdown or two, but maybe put another 2 or 3 in a bad spot.
I would think that's.
I think he's a fine player. I think he's going to grow. I expect him to be a solid NFL quarterback, but I think he's always going to be a guy who makes plays with his legs, but doesn't have the arm to fit tight windows. Mm-hmm. And that's going to lead to turnovers in the NFL because that's that's how the league works now.
So I've got Baltimore covering that 4.5.
I like that.
The Jaguars are at Houston. Houston will not have their quarterback C.J. Stroud out in concussion protocol. Jacksonville is a 1.5-point favorite on the road in this one, and I think that's a good line. I think without Stroud that the Texans are going to have some difficulty. Their defense is fine, but I would think that in a low-scoring game, Jacksonville is able to hold off Houston.
I like this kind of game because if the Jaguars win, I don't take too much from it because of the injuries on the Texan side. Mm-hmm. But if the Jaguars somehow stumble, this is late enough in the season where I'm like, you're fake. I don't believe in you. You're not real. You're going to fall apart. Start selling off people, start planning for the draft. You are not a real playoff team if you cannot beat the Texans without CJ Stroud. I know they have a good defense.
They missed out on the trade deadline, darn it.
I know they did. I know I know that the Texans have a great defense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't score 21 points, hell, if you can't win this, if you can't score 21 points, even against the Texans, when you're going to command the ball, probably have good field position against a bad Texans offense, you can't do all that, even without Justin Hunter. I don't see it happening. And I know they made the addition in Jacoby Myers.
Mm-hmm.
That's another point. I know the Texans defense is good. Utilize what you've added, even though you don't know if Justin Hunter. Score 21, 24 points, win this game. And if you can't, Jaguars are frauds.
And they would only have a 1-game lead over Houston in the AFC South.
And then I'm all Texans, Wilson, if that happens. I'm all Texans if that happens.
The Colts are winning that division.
Well, I mean, like, maybe for like a little
wild card,
wild card run.
Because of the Stroud injury, though, and I know that the Jaguars are decimated. Brian Thomas isn't what he was. Like you mentioned.
Thanks a lot, Trevor.
Yeah, they lost Hunter. There's a lot there to unpack with what's going on with the Jaguars, but I'm still confident that they can go into Houston and win this game simply because Houston doesn't have their quarterback. Okay, you mentioned the LA Rams. They have a record of 6-2, 3-1 on the road. They're at San Francisco. The Niners are unbelievable, 6-3. They have lost their quarterback, Brock Purdy. He may or may not be back for this game. They have lost their best pass rusher in Nick Bosa. They've lost their heart and soul of their defense in Fred Warner, yet they still continue to win football games, and that is absolutely remarkable. And Kyle Shanahan has always had the number of Sean McVay. I wouldn't be surprised if the faithful showed up big time and the Niners beat the Rams in this one.
I hope so. Randy, this week I saw a lot of very happy Rams fans retweeting accounts and things that had the Rams number 1 in the power rankings for the NFL this week. And it made me realize that I never once saw that ever tweeted in my life about the St. Louis Rams, because not once ever did that website exist when they would have been the number 1 team on the power rankings in the NFL. Not a lot of time in really the modern internet, non-dial-up, when I got to see the Rams ranked number 1 in power rankings. I hope
if you click that little arrow, though,
I hope they lose.
If you click that little arrow that kind of flips the power rankings,
they were,
they were at the top.
I did do that a lot to save myself a lot of tedious scrolling, many times. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. There's something about the 49ers where, like, they should be, based on the injuries and things like that, based on the fact that Mac Jones is playing meaningful football, they should be trending towards being like 4-13, 5-12. I'm still bad at doing records off the top of my head on the new 17 games.
Me too.
Game season. They should be, but nonetheless, I feel like they're going to still, maybe worst case scenario, be 9-8, maybe 10. They might even be 10-7. And so, I think this could be one of those games where maybe the Rams are riding a little bit too high, and maybe the 49ers slap them down a little bit. When have we seen that happen?
I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what San Francisco is able to do. I'm rooting for them. The Rams are favored by 4.5, and I'm just going to, out of spite, I'm going to take the 49ers to cover in this one.
All right, I'm just going to take the over.
Good. All right. We do have the Sunday night game coming up, but before we get to that, we want you to know about our friends at DraftKings. And legalized gambling starts in Missouri. Legalized sports gambling starts on December 1st. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. What you need to do is by November 17th, or starting November 17th, create a DraftKings Sportsbook account on your phone in Missouri and get ready for launch day. And DraftKings Sportsbook is going to allow you to place a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets, all for signing up. Pretty cool deal. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day. They have live in-game betting. They have lightning fast payouts and endless ways to get in on the action. All right from your phone, right from your couch. You can be making bets every game there is on TV. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you're going to be betting with the Sportsbook app trusted by millions. It's safe, secure, and has fast money withdrawals. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when DraftKings goes live in Missouri on December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All right, Sunday night It's the Steelers at the Chargers. And I remember before the Chargers moved into SoFi Stadium, they were playing at is it the Galaxy Stadium or LAFC? One of them. They were playing at a soccer stadium. Do you remember the Sunday night game, Pittsburgh at the Chargers, when Duck Hodges was the Steelers quarterback?
Oh, God. Yes, I do.
And the stadium was completely taken over by Steelers fans.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. And so you'll probably see the same thing just on a bigger scale with the Steelers fans taking over, although the Chargers are building somewhat of a fan base in L.A. The Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite. They're down to their third tackles on the left side and on the right side. Mekhi Becton has been out, so they're really playing with 20% of their offensive line. And for that reason, because I have to believe that line for the Chargers is going to see a lot of things they haven't seen in the past. When you have TJ Watt, when you have Highsmith, the pass rush is going to be pretty fierce. And I love the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh is great. I think that Justin Herbert is great. I like their receivers. The running back situation to be on their fifth running back is pretty amazing. I love a lot about the Chargers, but not in this game.
I honestly thought they were going to need the game to be completely mucked up to beat the Colts, and I was completely wrong. I think the Chargers just kind of might be the AFL's the AFC's version of the 49ers a little bit, where they got a lot of high priced players. Some of them aren't playing too well, but a lot of talent on that team, better quarterback play than I expected, although from very different ends of the spectrum.
Common denominator is both of those teams are very physical.
Yes, that's the thing. And the one big thing, and this has been really only true for the Steelers. And I was just saying this to Randy while we were in the break. It's like the 49ers and the Steelers kind of have this where it's like every time I check the box score, if I'm not watching that game, I'm like, wow, it's always like they're down by 3 points or they're up by 3 points. Yeah. They never let games get away from them. And so they're always in it. And I don't know, just after the way they played the Colts last week, I think they could have a good game against the 49ers. You know that Christian McCaffrey, I know he's having an incredible season, but his longest run this year is 16 yards. That's fascinating to me.
He's got almost 600 rushing.
And so I just wonder if there's a factor to just holding back the big plays from McCaffrey or I'm back talking about the 49ers for some reason. On this talking about the Steelers again. I think when it comes to the Chargers, the ability to hold back the big plays, I think that's what the Steelers defense is eventually going to do, and eventually they're just going to kind of lean on you, and that's what I think they did with the Colts game.
I mentioned the offensive line for the Chargers, and at the beginning of training camp, Rashawn Slater was at left tackle, one of the best in the league. Joe Alt at right tackle, one of the best in the league. Slater gets hurt, they move Alt to left tackle, so they're on their second left tackle. Alt out for the year now with an ankle injury suffered last week. So somebody named Trevor Penning is going to play left tackle for the Chargers. They do have the rest of their left and middle. Zion Johnson was their normal left guard. Bradley Bozeman was their center. But Becton is questionable for this game, and it could be Foster Sorelli in the spot at right guard. And then Bobby Hart also was knocked out of last week's game. He's questionable for this one, and it'll be Trey Pipkins probably to play in the place of Bobby Hart. When you're down that many offensive linemen, and we saw that a lot here with the St. Louis Rams, it's really tough. Oh, by the way, Kamani Vidal is one of the great stories in football this year, because after they lost Najee Harris and Amari Hampton, and then who was their Haskins, Hassan Haskins from here. Vidal is their fourth running back, and they're just moving right along with their number 4 running back and still running the ball effectively and scoring points.
The IR list for the Chargers is absolutely ridiculous.
Who do you got?
I mean, it's just,
Hampton,
Leonard,
Haskins, and Harris.
Dean Leonard, Omarion Hampton, Otito Ogbanio, Hassan Haskins, Joe Walt, Rashawn Slater, Junior Colson, Najee Harris, Jordan Oludukin, Eric Rogers, Josh Fuga, Savion Washington's on the pup. I mean, that's 4 offensive linemen. That's 3 cornerbacks. Like you said, 3 running backs as well. It's ridiculous.
So you like Pittsburgh in this game on the road?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to take Pittsburgh in this one.
And I kind of like Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers too. I think the difference in this game will be that Chargers offensive line trying to stop the Steeler defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised. Love Herbert, like I said, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers shut the Chargers down offensively and won by like a 17-10, maybe a 21-13 kind of a game.
I just believe too much in the in consistency on offensive line play being such a large factor. I don't care even if who they get in there. That offensive line is going to fall apart multiple times in this game.
Yeah, it is.
Bottom line.
One other question for you, and I've been thinking about this during the course of the week. How do you think Jets fans are going to react? They play the Browns at home, noon game St. Louis time, 1:00 in the East. And the Jets traded arguably their two best defensive players in Williams and Sauce Gardner. And they're at home, granted, against a team that has as bad a history as they have. But I wonder how Jets fans are going to react today against Cleveland.
I feel like the only reaction around the Jets is going to be when Breece Hall has 12 carries for 34 yards, and their reaction will be, why the hell didn't we trade him as well?
Yep.
That's going to be the reaction, because I think Jets fans are sufficiently brainwashed enough, and good job by bloggers and people like that they're Rams fanned out as, oh, look at all these first round picks, the new era, the future, baby. And so their thought process when Breece Hall gets thrown down for another 2-yard loss is going to be, why do we need him? He's not going to be part of the winning in 3 or 4 years. We could have taken a 3rd round pick for this guy. That I honestly think will be the majority of Jets fans' mind. There'll be crazy people who are just pissed that they're losing to the Browns, but a majority of Jets fans, the online ones who really know about the draft, they'll be pissed that they didn't do a harder sell.
And when they're watching the Sunday night game, with Jaylen Warren struggling for the Steelers, and as we mentioned, the injuries that the Chargers have endured, all they had to do was call up both of those teams and say, okay, whoever gives us the best offer by the trade deadline gets Breece Hall, and then just take it, regardless of what the offer is.
Just add a 6th round pick. We have a third round pick. Add a 6th rounder. Yeah. Who's doing it? All right, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Simple. It'll be a fun NFL Sunday. By the way, down into the 20s on Sunday night in St. Louis, so we're getting to that football watching at home weather. He's fired up. You can tell.
It was 70 on Friday.
It was. Hey, enjoy your NFL Sunday, everyone. Thanks to our friends at DraftKings for presenting everything here at STL Sports Central. And we will see you on the Randy Karraker Show on Monday. So long.